Are you visible today? Page 39. The only thing between your current reality and the reality you created in your vision is your fear. And the owner of that fear is your younger self. She won't let you move until you listen to her. Only your inner child can let you grow. Remember a time when you walked into a situation that felt unsafe. Think back on your childhood. What emotions did you hold as a child? What were your parents like? How did you feel around them? Was there a lot of emotional suppression going on in the household? Now close your eyes and really ask yourself, what emotions do I default most of the time? To help you, I will list a few of them: doubtful, insecure, lonely, rejected, disappointed, worried, pessimistic, frustrated, impatient, irritated, angry, enraged, hatred, fear, sadness, abandoned, ashamed, anxious, unloved, disempowered, grief, depression, hopelessness. And I identify two of your most disempowering emotions, the ones you spend most time in. You take a deep breath in and start following the steps I use in my coaching practice to help my clients release the emotions of the past that keep them stuck. It's called the inner child release. First, it's not about reliving any event. We're just revisiting the emotions that you can identify that very first time you felt one of these disempowering emotions. I'm sharing with you the script I give my clients so that they always have this tool with them, even after our engagement has ended. Because you are doing it your own way, on your own. Make sure that you go one step at a time. Don't skip steps. So you're going to read the instruction and then with your hand on your heart and with your eyes closed, allow your mind to show you images and your body to express sensation via emotions. Why do I recommend putting your left hand on your heart? First, try it and see how it feels personally. It feels very warm for me and energetic when I do it on myself. But more scientifically, Dr. Joe Dispenza says that studies suggest that doing so activates the release of oxytocin, known as the feel good or love or hormone. You're giving your heart energy, generating feelings of safety and trust, a great place from which to create. So it's time to embrace your full power, to shine brightly in the online world without the shadow of fear. This healing journey is about unlocking your inner visibility as well as your online visibility through embracing your voice and stepping into the arena with the conviction that your expertise and services not only matter, but they are essential. So, uh, if you go on page 40, I give you kind of the step-by-step inner child release that I use on myself and on my clients in the book, because the the little girl within us is the one who has the key to the kingdom, I always say, because she has experienced past experience or trauma that has left trauma. And when we live in those traumas forever, then we're not even aware of it. But very, very often, this is where your online presence is gonna suffer, because your little girl needs to be heard and healed first. And one of the major things is the fear of rejection and judgment and abandonment and shame and guilt. All of these are one of the many reasons why um, a lot of women entrepreneurs and any entrepreneurs kind of stop from being visible or never start being visible online. So this topic is a big part of the book. Um, and I want you to start imagining that when you talk to your audience, like I'm talking to you right now, I'm talking to the inner child of each of you. So whatever you were doing when you were little or younger, the games you were playing, or maybe whatever you were doing, I'm talking to that person today. And I always, I had to develop this relationship with my inner child that I didn't have at all before. And that's really, really game changer, because when it comes to building a community online, um, it is about showing up for a new family that you are creating. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. And it's something that we talk in the book as well, is that a community, what does it take to build a community? So number one, it will take the desire to build a community. So when I start working with my clients in the Visibility Accelerator 1 year program, a lot of them are far from imagining that a community is actually people you love, that you hold space for, that you hold time for. So, there is a reason why it's called social media love, right? But the first step to building a community online is the desire to build a community online. And so when you build a community online, it's building a new family, one person at a time. And as you build relationship, it takes time. So building an online community is number one, the desire, and second is to be detached from the time it will take you to build a community and detached from the results. Because we've been ingrained that communities have to be large and big and massive and thousands and millions of people. You get there, some people get there, but a community can be small as well and be as engaged and committed and in a relationship. And I think I am the living proof of this with my community. We are a very small community, but this book is another proof of it. Like you guys, like I could even cry, but I just put some little cream here. You guys are rocking the book. That book doesn't belong to me anymore. Like you are rocking the book. And did I created a community saying, well, they're going to sell my book? Absolutely not. Right? So when you desire to build a community, you really have to connect from here. And I remember, losing my Facebook page 3 times in a row, like maybe 1 or 2 years apart, and starting from scratch to reconnect with people. So most people didn't know that I lost my access to my page. So I had to fetch them again and reconnect again, and then adding new people. So each time I had to learn that it was not about, a quick win, but it was really around taking the time to build those relationships. And there is an art to this. But it really starts with your desire, because when you desire something, you become unstoppable. Unstoppable. So the community that you're building right now doesn't have to be big. It can be a small, mighty community that gets very engaged and very committed to build a relationship with you. It's not a one-way thing, right? And I want to bring something up right from the get-go so that you know. The number that I hear often about online community, whether it's on social media, your subscribers for your email list and everything, 2 to 3% of those people are ready to buy from you. They're here ready for your invitation. Okay. So that's another thing. No matter how big your community is, if you do the math, 2 to 3%, and if you offer premium offers or whatever you offer, like do the math and see, okay, based on my current community, if you take 2 to 3% of that community, those people are ready to buy from you. That's another reason that you cannot just stop again. We don't stop anymore, right? Especially once you read the book. I want you to reach out to me if you feel that you need help, because the syndrome of move forward, stop, move forward, stop, move forward, stop. It kind of diminish your self-esteem, right? And it doesn't help your people. Your people are in your community. Even if it's a small community, they want to be in touch with you because it shows your community against so many other communities online. Another thing that I want to bring up is that your community is a collection of people who've been your OGs forever. Like I have people in my community who've been part of my other business and they follow along to this one. They're also a collection of people that you meet in the investment that you do for yourself. If you invest in, masterminds and you invest in other programs, chances are, I would say about 10 to 20% of the people I meet in other people's audiences come to my audience. I don't have a fixed data on this, but be aware of it. And the more you invest in yourself, in communities, in others' communities, this is gonna bring qualified leads and potential, business collaborators, potential friends from other audiences to your audiences. You know how you have different circle of friends, and you are the common denominator of those friends. That's kind of the same. And then also you have the perfect strangers, because when you develop relationship with your community, then the friends of the people of your community gonna discover you, right? And I would really encourage you as well to expand your community every day so that you have new eyes on your content. So maybe I personally now spend an hour a day, nourishing my community, answering comments, but beyond that, like exploring who else needs to hear our message here, who else needs to be in the vortex of social media love, and also inviting people to become friends or followers. That's part of the work. A community is a day-to-day job, so that you are growing that community, but from a place of everybody belongs. Right? You don't grow a community to grow a community. You grow a community by involving the people in your community, from your storytelling. Like this, for example, the book here is really a catalyst of all my stories, the key one that I wanted to share with all of you. And that those stories gonna be like, already some people came to me because they read one of the specific stories and say, oh my God, this happened to me too. And then it gels a connection, and then trust even gets bigger. And then, so what happens with this? So people could become, they trust you, so they want to be your client, or they trust you and they want to do a business collaboration with you, or they trust you, they want to talk to their friends about your community. So when you build a community, I don't want you to think it's a massive thing. It's a daily thing. Like daily, you plant seeds and then you harvest. You don't harvest first. You plant it, you nourish, you water the relationship, like in a partnership with your kids or with your partner of life. If you have a partner in your private life, you nourish the relationship. There is no other way, right? So it's exactly the same. That's why I say in the book, your online family is your online audience, is your online family. And it's not a joke. It's actually amazing, because when you meet the people you met online in real life, an event that you organize, for example, there it feels that you have always been with them. There is, I don't agree when we say that there is, the online world is different from, you build a real conversation, yes, but real relationship on social media. Like most of my coaches that I spend so much money in their programs, I build that relationship with them online. And I was so scared each time I met them in real life, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to meet that person that I just met online, like in 3D. And I'm always a little anxious when I first meet someone in their own, meet cute and for a big hug. So don't underestimate the power of the relationship you build online. They are real. And a lot of people actually get the the partner of their life online. It's a real thing. So I think the fear of, showing up, you know, consistently online and building a community is really anchored in something else. It's a question of trust, because I meet people who are only talking about what if there is a troll, what if there is a bad person that bad comments. If you put your focus and your attention on attracting that type of people, for sure you will. Believe me, your mind works like this, because your energy, everything you're gonna say is gonna be geared toward attracting that type of energy of people. And yet there are some, like, don't get me wrong, but if you only focus on that, this is how you create the best nest of that type of relationship. What if you focus on what could work so well with your community, like friends? Like, I can say that almost all my clients are my friends, and I met them online most of the time, you know, at first. And then they could become clients, they could become business partners, they could become your best ambassadors, they could become people who open doors for you, right? So today I'm going to invite you to, when you post, or even if you go and comment on someone else's post, that someone else that you would like to work with, or someone that you would like to know better, I want you to connect inside of you, and really, like, I always close my eyes when I want to connect. So, and then feel that relationship. How does it feel like? What if this person would have a conversation with me? And then invite people to have conversation with you. Like, I have a calendar in my calendar that is only for that. And I call this Connect Calls. And it's for people who kind of express a sense that they would like some help with their online visibility, or that they're interested to learn more about what I do, and I'm interested to learn more about what they do, right? You could even have a special calendar for each. I have just one for now, but and then it's very clear for both of us that when you get on that 15 or 20 minutes call, is to get to know each other and see if I can help you move forward, right? And then after that, if there is more to this, people come with me and we do a sales calls. But at first, it's really being curious rather than figuring out, is that person a client? Is that person a bit like, it's like being curious about learning about what the other ones do. Because number one, I think that's mostly how I built my mighty nano community, like by talking to people more and more. And then the last piece I want to add. So the first piece was the desire of building a community online. The second was uh, um, that communities can be small, and 2 to 3% of the people in your community are going to be ready to buy from you. That's why you cannot just disappear every 3 days, right? They need you. And number 4, you build a community from that place that you believe that you're building a family. So you got to nourish the kids, even on days that you don't feel like it, right? So, and then 5th, your community is kind of I always say there is a special space. It's a vortex. When you create community, like you bring people in your community, and their relationship between themselves doesn't belong to you, although you're the leader of that community. There is a creation of energy, of relationship between all of them, whether it's through your paid programs, your free groups, or even your email, list. There is an energy that gets out of it that doesn't really belong to you, although you're really the leader of this, right? And you see this like real time when you start building events, in-person events. And then suddenly people from your different pockets in your community, whether they're your free community or your paid programs or your email list, or people you did business relation stuff with, they come to an event and then in front of your eyes you realize, oh, I built this, and this is when you see that everything is not random. People who connect with you and become part of your community, they're here for a reason. And it's kind of a belief to develop. Like, it's believing in your mission and believing that whoever needs to see and be part of your mission will come to your community, right? There is no forcing behind it. That's why the key to this is for you, the leader, to believe in your community and to believe that your voice matters, because each time you show up, whether you create a program for them, whether you write a book for them, whether you show up in your social media posts, in your email, for sure those people are going to take what they need. And this is how you run a community. It doesn't have to be thousands and millions of people before you start leading a community. Even 3 people is a community, right? So I think there is a lot of judgment as well around what a community is, and a lot of fear to deal with a community in terms of, what if they don't like it? What if they reject me? What if they abandon me and go somewhere else? This is why it's very key to be anchored in your message. Anchored in your message, because you are not for everybody. The ones who are going to stay are the ones that your message serve them right now in their life, right? So I hope it helps you to get excited about, going today, nurture your community, whether you're going to post today, you're going to go and reach out to some people in your community, and you're going to invite them to come for a connection call with you, so that, you can explore maybe that you can help them or not. I'm going to see if there are any questions. Hello, I see there is someone here. Hello, hello. Oh, I forgot to check my Facebook if it's on private. Let me see. Are we live here? We are live here. I'm just going to put it on public. Public. Okay, is there any question, whether you are live or you're watching the replay? Ask me a question about building a community. And because we're talking about community and you are part of this community, I'm going to share a little story. Building a community, you're going to have to make choices, and sometimes they're heartbroken choices. So, for example, if you browse a little bit of my social media, my YouTube channel, you'll see that I have some French channels and some English channels, because when I first started my business, I was in the food industry. I was talking in French and in English, and I started to build channels in French, channels in English. And when you're pouring your energy into others, it's I realized that it was draining me to be speaking the 2 languages. So it took me years to figure out what to do, because I didn't want to drop my friends in the French language, and I wanted to make sure I was bringing equal energy to the 2 communities. And at some point, I had to decide and explain to my French community that I would do most of my marketing in English, and I still serve my clients in both languages. If they're French, we do it in French, one-on-one. And if we do group programs, and I have some cohorts that are in French that I will announce here and there, but everything now is in English. I had to cut the ties of spreading myself. So, and I remember that it was a very, very hard decision, because I felt that I was dropping my other audience, which is what it is, because I didn't have the energy to create content because it's more than just creating content for your audience. It's really everything. It's really an energy. And when you are speaking multiple languages, and I know some of you do, um, to me, it felt like I was depleting myself. And then the potency of the quality of my reflection, the quality of my thoughts, or my creations were kind of splitted, so less potent. So that's why I had to do the decision to, I literally sent an email to my French community, say, guys, I'm going to do mostly everything in English from now on. And then when I have some opportunities in French to build a program, I let you know, right? So I invite them to come to my English community for those of them who can speak and understand English. But for sure, some don't. So it's beautiful to see that each time I reactivate my French community, they're here. They are here. And I'm like, wow, that's called building a community, even, if we don't have any relationship that are active every day. But when you think of, your best friends, I don't know, but for me, but I have best friends that I never talk to. And then when we do talk to each other, it's like we've never stopped, right? I would not recommend that for a community in your marketing and visibility work, because the it takes repetition. Marketing is repetition, and there is so much demand and in the marketplace online that you got to show up consistently with your message so that it starts to ingrain in your people's brain. So I would love to hear you. What do you see? What do you see happening in your community? What do you feel you have a community? So I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and she said, when you tell me to talk to my community, I feel like something here. Um, so I just want to know, what is your relationship with your community? Do you feel that you have a community, and what type of relationship? Do you feel that they know you? Do you feel that you know them? Do you feel that they trust you? Do you feel that you trust them? That's a big part. And in the book, I talk about it, like to believe in your clients or potential clients. So it's really to believe that whoever is around, he's here for a reason, and you cannot know, you know the exact reason for each of them. If you have 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, a few thousand people in your community, you can not know each of them like exactly, but you can have a sense, right? So I'm going to give you maybe a few tips on how you can have a sense. So for me, for example, um, when you come into my community, I like to guide people. So that's another thing. You're a guide, you're a leader, you guide people in your community. It's like when someone comes to your house, you say, hey, come on in, there is the place here, this is the living room, this is the kitchen, where are the washroom, stuff like that, right? So it's the same in your ecosystem online. So I like to bring my people to my Facebook group, which is the Becoming Visible for Women Entrepreneurs. And you don't get into my Facebook group until you answer a few questions, because I want to make sure that you fit the profile. And number two, that I can really help you. So there are three questions that people answer, and if they don't answer, they don't get in. So sometimes they don't see the question, or they're not as, they don't know how it works in Facebook groups. But so I go back to them, I message them, say, hey, I cannot wait to introduce you to my community in the group, but first, can you answer the question I ask, right? So that there are key fundamental questions that gets me very clear about who I'm talking to, what is their main, frustration right now, and what do they want to accomplish, right? So there is ways you can, as you grow your community, you're gonna have a sense of who is here, and you're gonna realize that most of them have very common pain points, for example. So that's my way of doing it. I would love to hear if you have, what is your sense of who is in your community. I would love to hear from you. Another thing that I can share with you is how I because one of the fear is like, what if people say mean comments or stuff like that? So sometimes it happens, or you get those, I want to be your friend, you're so pretty, I love what you say, stuff, right? So you get those, and nobody dies from this. um, for the comments, for me, I've been a community manager for organization for more than 10 years, and I've learned very quickly that there is no tolerance for three things: racism, segregation, and harassment. So as soon as someone gets to that border, so of course, I delete them, but before that, I screen capture, I report them. Like, I take this very seriously. Like, there is no room for this in my community. So that's that level. The second level is like people who are like kind of nya nya nya. No, they don't agree with you, and they make it a big fuss about it. I'm all about don't agree with me. I'm all good with it. But if people like, some people like criticize and they go deep and they go and tell everybody in the comments, that rarely happened, but it did happen. So I address this personally, like forefront, and I usually thank the person for expressing herself fully, and I thank her for being here. But obviously, it's not a community for that person. So I wish them luck and all the success they desire, and I invite them to leave. Right. So yeah, the idea is not to make it something about yourself. Whatever happens online, it's not about you. Most of the time, when people judge you, it's a judgment against themselves. And if someone doesn't agree with you, great. This is a great conversation. There is room for everybody. And that's a great. And then there are limits. So there are three types of kind of, for me, like the harassment and racism, that's like a no directly. Then there is like, okay, you express your point of view, but you make it like um, a very negative experience for everybody. So it's a no, but I address it and I thank the person and I go away. And then you don't agree with me, great. Let's have a conversation. It's all good. Sometimes I would even invite people to come for like a call and let's discuss. We don't have to agree with everybody. Absolutely not. That's completely cool, right? But it's very rare in my community that this happens. So I would love to hear about what is your feeling around building a community. Do you feel that you have a community? I would love to hear you about this. If you want to tell me in the comments, I would love, love, love to hear you. Or if you want to come live with me, I could put the link again. Should have put it first. Copy. Voila. So I put the link to come with me live to discuss about this, or if you have questions. Again, this is an opportunity. That book is opening new opportunities like I've never done before. So you take it or you leave it. But I am more than happy to answer your questions. You come live with me. You use a link. It's pretty straightforward. You click on the link and then it's going to bring you backstage with me, and then we're gonna go live together. Like, I'm gonna add you after you are backstage with me. I'm gonna add you on the screen, and we're just gonna continue the conversation. So it's a great way for you to access me, and then it's a great way for you to also practice that muscle to show up in front of your community, from a place of that's your new normal, right? I just want to make sure. I would love to find the place in the book where I talk about community while you are maybe typing a comment, or if you are decided to come in live with me. Okay, maybe here. Yeah, no. Let's see, because I think uh, I had a full chapter. Like, I still don't know exactly the order of my chapters. That's why I like to read it with you because I rediscover my book from a different perspective. Okay, so here I just want to remind all of you, like in the book, there is a special gift from me in the book. I see it at page 61. Ba-ba-da. Just so pleasing everybody. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, that's not this one. Well, if I find it again, I'll read it tomorrow morning. But I'm pretty sure that there is, yeah. So, whatever. But what I want to share with you is that I think that's my message today, that a community online is not just a fluff. It's not just a random thing. It's a real thing that can grow your business and that can grow your influence and that can grow your impact and that can grow the growth of each other. Big time, big time. And also, I want you to know that your community of paid clients, the people who work with you, uh, they are part of your community and they become, um, they become your ambassadors. Like, I don't know who's watching right now, but some of you probably watching, like, when you share an experience with someone, and I'm the same with the coaches I hired, I am their best ambassador, because you have the experience in your back pocket. You know the transformation you went through, the breakthrough that happened during that relationship. So this is really important in your community, that you include your clients. A community is everybody. It's the clients, the potential clients, the business partners, the people, complete stranger that stumble upon a post that really, got them excited about you. Hello, France. Awesome. So it's everybody, even your family. Like France is my sister-in-law, right? Because a community led by a leader is actually an energy, right? And you know how you like to spend time with some people rather than others because they lift you up, because they bring that energy that helps you. And my sister, look, this is my family. I love it. Salut, Shasha. So it gather everybody because it's a family. When I say like you build a family online, this is not kidding. That's what it is. So are you ready to be visible with your family this week, today? And again, I want to repeat, you don't have to use the online world. You choose. If you say you want to choose it, then go full in. And I can help you. There are two ways to work with me. There is a group program and there is a one-on-one. You choose, right? But I can help you build that relationship. But it starts with your relationship with yourself. If you have a lot of, if you feel overwhelmed or if you feel a lot anxious when it's time to go on social media, there are things that you can help yourself with. And that's the part that we actually go inside together and we take our observer magnifier and we're like, what's going on here? Oh, and that's in the book. I talk about little Angelique. Little Angelique, she's freaking scared of money. So what can you do when it's time to sell if your little Angelique is so scared of money? So what is your little person within you scared of? And we need to go and talk to her, that it's safe, right? That it's safe, that you are meant to do big, grand things. If you want to write a book, you write a book. If you want to do a TEDx, you do a TEDx. If you want to marry someone, you're like you can marry that person. Like the clients come to me for social media and they end up getting married. Okay, that's how, when you transform one aspect of your life inside of you, everything else transforms, including the business or the business you are building, right? So this is, and you do that by developing your relationship with yourself. And the more, and I think that's the key, the more you develop your relationship with yourself and you learn how to love yourself and bring grace and compassion on a daily basis towards yourself, the bigger, not the bigger, the deeper your relationship with your audience gets. And then, of course, your audience gets bigger because the more people are in your audience, the more they want, people to come and check you out. Like, this is an example of all of you in this community sharing the book with your potential clients, your friends, people in your community. This is the magic of it, right? Once you build that trust relationship in that transparency mode, right? That means storytelling, vulnerability. That book puts me naked in front of you. You don't know everything about me in this, but I even told my mom, if I die tomorrow, read the book. You'll know enough about what I believe in, who I am, who I'm becoming, and all my journey, right? Because I don't want any of your story to stop you from getting where you want to go. Your story are your best friend. And that's why you got to do that inner work first. In that inner work, you're going to discover how to unlock your online visibility. And people are going to love you for this because you're going to be an expander, a mirror to them. Literally, one of my beautiful clients, I wrote a book. I was part of another book last year. I wrote one chapter of that book. If you wanted, just put it in the comment. It's about my story of addiction and how it's related to my business and how I became an entrepreneur. And right after reading that, chapter, the person reached out to me, said, I want to work with you. Like now. The power of your story, and that's probably another live that I'm going to do today. I wanted really to connect on what is a community, how do you build a community one person at a time, and then how you trust your community to grow by itself, even though you have to show up for them every day, one way or another, right? So that was really, really my message. You have, maybe you have a large community, maybe you have a small community, but you can activate that power in that relationship with them. They are here because of you, and they are waiting to be led by you, right? You don't just not just hang out here to just hang out. If someone is here, if you're here today, it's because you there is something you want to hear, you need to hear, that you're looking for. And when it's gonna hook like this, you're gonna say yes. And then either you're gonna reach out to me, either you're gonna get into one of our program, or maybe you're gonna take that action right today with your community, whatever it is. Okay. So my call to action to you today, because I know the importance it is that when you choose social media to build a community online, it's really important that you take care of how you see yourself. Are you visible to yourself? Number one. So grab the book. The book is still like super cheap right now, so you can buy multiple ones. And a lot of my beautiful community members bought a bunch of them to gift them to other women entrepreneurs, right? So feel free to do the same, because it's very potent. There are some very key exercises that are really going to help you unlock. And then I'm working on, what is the next step with all of you in the book. I want to bring you to further down the journey. So get the book so that you are ready for the next step of the journey. Okay? Get the book, read the book, share the book. This is key. And this is why I love the community that is here, because you guys have been sharing with others, sharing reviews, testimonials, the videos, in the stories, in the feed. And you know what? When you do that, when you celebrate someone else, you celebrate yourself. And then it's also, and because there is a big thing with a community online, it's either you build a community from a place of lack and fear, or you build a community from a place of oneness. We are the same, we are in this together. I can lead you in that specific world because this is my expertise, but you are no different. You are one. So, can you feel it in your body? I feel it in my stomach. If you lead a community from that place of lack and what if that doesn't work, versus if you lead a community like excited about the fact that you're gonna gather people. My dream is to do a mega retreat with all of you where we're all together. That's what animates me, right? So check yourself when you post today, when you talk to your member, your community. Where are you coming from? Are you coming from like there is a big separation between them and you? You feel like a victim of your community, for example, or you're a victim of social media, a victim of the algorithm, a victim of lack of engagement. So you got to stop that bit because you never know who's watching, and there is always someone watching. Number one, always someone watching. There is always someone watching. As soon as the TEDx comes out, you're going to be sick of hearing it because that's the one line. Even my friends who were part of my TEDx rehearsal, they know that line by heart. You never know who's watching, and there is always someone watching. Okay, so don't spin your mind in this. There is always someone watching. So we have 10 minutes left. I'm going to invite you again. Do you want to come live with me? Ask me questions. Share something you've learned about yourself thanks to the book. Or just maybe you want to come and read a piece of the book with me. I would love this. Who wants to come and read a little page of the book with me? Tell me. I would love, 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 love this. So I put the link to join me in the comments. Okay, it's called streamyard.com/whatever, jing, 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 jing. You click on it, and then it's gonna bring you to me. I'm gonna while we have a few more minutes, I'm just gonna start to read, and then if you have questions or you want to come live with me, tell me. Hello here. I'm just checking. I'm starting to need glasses because I'm like. So, reconnecting with your authentic voice. Usually, an unheard voice comes with unshed tears. Holding your tears and suppressing your emotions for many years has created a heavy burden that you can no longer carry. Add to this that the masculine world you've been raised in has ravaged the ancient sacred inner knowing that your feminine energy offers. In other words, reconnecting to your voice is reconnecting to your inner knowing, your inner power, your intuition. Shedding tears and old beliefs, paradigms, and disempowering habits is the path to reconnect with your voice and your feminine power. It requires you to go inwards to reprogram your current identity. So you're reprogramming your belief structure, you're thinking different, you're starting to emit different energy, you're using different language, you're shifting your relationship with fear, and you're evolving your identity. You're actively becoming different. That's what becoming an online influencer. uh, um, and when I say online influencer, I believe that each time you are online, you are an influencer. You know, and this reprogramming will force you to stop focusing on what isn't working externally in your business and turn your focus to what is not working internally. Once you can feel aligned internally, everything externally will begin to shift. Things will shift in one or two ways. They will appear and work out, or you will no longer want what you thought you did want. This shift will allow your business to shift with you as well, and feel more closely aligned to your purpose and your community. So, ready to move on? Let's take a deep dive into how you're gonna go from reconnecting with the power of your voice to channeling a reservoir of ideas that will captivate your audience. So that was page 17. I'm just going from one to another page like this. You're a Chinese buffet, Angelique. The words cut through me like a knife. It was during a business coaching call when I had just started my entrepreneurial journey. It was the first time in my entire life that I decided to invest in myself. And part of that investment included one on one calls with a fellow entrepreneurs who was seasoned and successful. The day I sent her the money, I felt sick to my stomach. Everything in my brain was conditioned to give to others before myself, and my body was resisting the process. The teacher show up when the student is ready, I told myself as I purchased the coaching package. You must be willing to show up. Just spend the money and see what happens. I decided to trust myself and show up to our first call ready to listen. You offer far too much for way too little, my coach continued. And deep down, I knew she was correct. I didn't see my inherent worth or the value of my earned expertise. It hurt to hear the truth, but I trusted her and was ready to grow out of this phase in my entrepreneurial journey. Do you understand your value, Angelique? It was asked gently, but the force of it hit me in the gut. My answer was not what I wanted it to be, but I needed to be trustful with her. I really am working on it, I answered with genuine optimism that was palpable and caused her to smile. Well, once you understand your inherent worth, you will no longer be afraid to charge appropriate prices without offering your clients everything under the sun to justify that price tag. But right now, you are hiding from your value. It was the first time someone had put it that way, plainly for me, and it began to click internally. I was ready for a change, and I knew I needed to do the internal work to make my entrepreneurial vision a reality. I want you to experience that same internal shift toward recognizing your potential and your inherent worth. The world, the world needs your ideas, needs your energy and your legacy. Your impact has a ripple effect that is undeniable, and it starts right there, right now. This is your time. If you are open and willing to learn and grow, the way you handle challenges as well as triumphs will permanently change to feel more empowering, more fulfilling, and more impactful for yourself and your community. The universe conspires in your favor, aligning stars and scripting serendipities, and all because of you, my friend. You are ready. Your openness to learn is your greatest strength, and it's this readiness that will catapult you into realms of success and fulfillment you've only dared to imagine. The teacher is here. The lessons are unfolding. Are you ready to embrace them? It took me time to overcome my Chinese buffet syndrome. Don't get me wrong, but once I was able to see how scattered I was in my marketing strategy, it started shifting. To put it simply, I had too many offers. It was not only overwhelming for my ideal client, but also for me. It was exhausting and ineffective. It was not sustainable, plus, it was detrimental to my brand building. I had no identity, no methodology, no processes, and no boundaries. The perfect recipe for burnout. Once I found the right formula for my company, it made things more consistent for my schedule, easier to understand for my clients, and helped to build a brand that is recognizable and impactful. When asked to describe my company, I say Social Media Love is a transformative educational company that supports women entrepreneurs who are ready to create a digital footprint that grows their business through amplifying their voice, ideas, and expertise online without sacrificing who they are. And once my mission became clear, I was able to start selling with ease and joy. I shifted my Chinese buffet offerings into two distinct packages. So that's a topic for another time, because a lot of the thing that happens online is that how much we are ready to receive clients, and sometimes and often, um, if you don't love what you offer, then you won't sell it, and then you'll be wondering why is it not selling. And so how much do you love your offers is another question for another day. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up. I thank you for being here with me. For me, it's early morning, it's pouring rain. I think there is a thunder. um, and I want to wish you an amazing day. If you're watching the replay, ask me questions, share with me in the comments, what comes up when you hear some of the stuff I'm sharing with you today. And please go in the comments and grab the book and share it with more people. I think we have 169 or 170 books sold so far. Um, I told my husband yesterday, okay, let's go for 1,000 and more before the end of the year. Why not? Okay. So thank you for your help. Thank you for believing in me. And thank you for believing in yourself. Keep rocking, keep showing up, and um, tell me more about how you feel about your community. I would love to hear you. I would love to hear you. Ciao.